Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to Factorio Beginner's Guide and to a rather expanded buffer area, which I actually think looks quite nice.
Yeah,
Don't you?
yeah, it does.
1, 2, 4. It's all powers of 2. They're the best kind of powers, in my opinion. Superpowers be damned. Right.
So we have one buffer area for steel because it doesn't get used as much as the rest. We have 2 buffers for copper because it's going to get used quite a lot, but not quite as much as the iron. And we have 4 buffers for iron because the iron is going to get used a lot. That's it.
Now, this is all part of a grander upgrade that we've done. You will notice over here that we have vastly improved our smelting operation. And this was necessary because the throughput of iron that we were getting on the far side of the base was starting to drop quite significantly. But that did open up some other problems that we needed to address. And you'll notice that the ore moving off the train right now is moving off in a much better way. Previously, all the ore was basically getting offloaded to one side of the belt, all of it onto one belt, which meant that the buffer chest on the left would never get emptied because we weren't going through the ore that fast. We could have, and this was part of the problem, is that we found that towards the bottom of the smelting lines, there was just no ore. It was getting used up by the top smelters, but then none of the ore was getting to the bottom ones because we just couldn't push the ore through. It wasn't a problem with how much ore we had, it was a problem with the throughput. So this is what we've done here. We have properly set, well, I say properly, again, disclaimer, none of this is proper.
It's much better than it was last time.
Yeah. What we're doing is each cargo wagon has its own output section, and that's getting merged onto a line, and then those lines are getting merged onto another line, and then it's getting brought down here, and then it's all getting split. You can more or less see what we're doing here. We've got 3 different lines that the ore is getting split onto, but 4 smelting lines. So the middle line is using up twice as much ore, so we're putting 2/4 of the, or rather 1/2 of the total ore output is going to that line, and then 1/4 to each of the sidelines, and that has just generally massively improved our throughput. But there's still more to that. Shen, do you want to cover the belts?
Sure. So what you're seeing now is not only have we improved the train's output area, so we're actually putting more ore onto the belt out of the storage area in the train, but we're also improving by doubling the amount of smelting that's getting done. So we have twice as much smelting getting done, and we have tons of ore backing up everywhere. We have plates backing up on the belts. And the solution to this is not more belts. The solution to this is newer belts, new and improved.
Well, I will say that you can do it with having more belts. That does mean you need a lot more room. And when you can simply use the room that you've got better, that's, in my opinion, generally a better option.
So what we have done is we've used our wonderful research to get fast transport belts.
Now, that one is actually something we've had as research for quite some time, isn't it? Because it's basically the logistics research that gives that.
We just haven't been using them.
I can't remember where. Logistics, and then Logistics 2 gives that. And we've had that for quite some time. So what I did off camera is I switched up the way that because previously we had 2 factories producing regular belts. We no longer want a stockpile of that. We want a stockpile of the newer, shinier belts. Now, this has necessitated a bit of a change. Previously, we had 2 belt factories running off just 1 gear factory. That wasn't an optimum solution. The gears were being used up a little bit faster than were being produced. But the red belt factory needs 5 gears and 1 belt. So I did have to update this a little bit. But we now have a stockpile of red belts. So I'm going to take half of those, and I'm actually going to get rid of the assignment of yellow belts on my hotbar, if I can just remember how.
Aavak.
Ah, there we are. Control.
Aavak.
Yes.
Emergency.
Yes.
There's a spitter, and he's not dying. He's dead.
Shoot it.
We need some turrets down here.
Okay. Did it actually get all the way there? That's actually pretty impressive.
It did. We'll have to find out where he came from. But anyway, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll set that up in a bit. Now, just to cover how the belts moves around, I think I've mentioned this before, if you middle mouse click on your hotbar when you've got something there, it'll reserve it for just that one type of item, and I no longer want yellow belts on there because we've got red belts. Why would I have the yellow belts when I've got a better option? To remove it, you control middle mouse button just to take off the the forced assignment. Nothing else can occupy that spot now except for red belts. But let's go and see how that is going to affect the throughput. Because that is really the issue here. We've got more than enough. It's just not getting moved fast enough. So
and you can
I think it's about here that it's getting really clogged up.
Well, you can tell where the place is that you need to actually start upgrading belts. And that's obviously right here. We have smelting factories that are trying to put their plates, their finished plates, onto a belt, and they can't. They can't put it on the belt. All of these smelting factories are doing nothing because they can't put their plates on the belt. That means right here, we need faster belts. Guaranteed.
Now, with the transport belts, there's also upgraded splitters, upgraded underground belts, because underground belts are effectively just regular belts. They're just underground, obviously. So we'll actually make a bunch of these as well. And we'll upgrade all of the things along this belt where we can. But you can already see that this is moving a lot more of the iron along this system. And that is a big thing for us. It is going to generally improve everything on the other side. Now, the reason why we needed to do all of this now rather than later is we're about to start using a lot more iron down there for a few different projects. Shall we go and check them out?
Have we upgraded the belts along the path?
We haven't upgraded everything yet. I'm still working through that at the moment. Let me just...
I have some red splitters prepared, so I'm popping those in.
Awesome. If you do the red splitters, I'll do
the red undergrounds. Yeah, perfect.
That's fine.
It's almost like we've done this planned ahead.
I know.
But we didn't.
Genuinely, no.
Okay, I have some more splitters here. This is perfect.
There we are.
All the splitting.
So this, as you can see, now that the undergrounds are gone, this is just all piping through nice and fast. We need this splitter change as well here because that's a bit of a slowdown. And there we go. Look at the difference that has made. And that is pushing all of this down onto this side. So we don't need to upgrade this just yet, but eventually we probably will.
Right. The main issue we had was just back at the smelting area. Yeah. And now it's done.
Now it's all moving down to the rest of the factory where it can be used as needed.
So we left off last time talking about sulfuric acid and batteries and using our oil products for some easy recipes. And what we're going to do right now is plastic. What we did is upgraded all of our fuel area to fuel blocks in the last episode. And now we're going to make use of this coal, which we otherwise are ignoring at the moment. So how do we make plastic?
Right, well, actually, it's super simple. Plastic needs 1 coal, 3 petroleum gas, and a second to produce a piece of plastic. This obviously isn't something you pipe. It's not liquid plastic. It is you can imagine it as being a plastic ingot, if you like. So you do need the coal and the petroleum, obviously. Now, we did actually have a little bit of a backing up issue. And it's worth mentioning this, I think. Once the oil refineries can't shift one of their products, they stop trying to make anything at all. And we had backed up on heavy oil, which we're not using yet. We will be using that later on. So as a result, we weren't producing light oil, we weren't producing any more petroleum gas, but we were using petroleum gas quite heavily. So we had to just make a little bit more storage for heavy oil just so that we could continue processing and getting things moved along.
So don't be surprised if your oil industry just shuts down. Track down the problem, take a look at your tanks, your storage tanks for each type of oil, and see which one is full. They have little bars on the outside to make it really easy to see when they're full. So we just added more storage for heavy oil. We'll deal with heavy oil later on, because later on we'll be able to turn it into other forms of oil. Yeah.
We haven't really touched on yet why we're using light oil specifically for the fuel box, but there is a reason. And that is because later on we can make the other types of oil into light oil for the fuel blocks, and it works out a little bit better for us.
And light oil is the most efficient type of fuel block. If you go to your fuel block recipes and the intermediate products and you mouse over petroleum gas, it takes 2 petroleum gas for 1 fuel block, it takes 2 heavy oil for 1 fuel block, but it takes 1 light oil for a fuel block. So it's twice as efficient as any of the other oils for making fuel blocks. But you can use any of the oil. If you've got extra oil and you don't have cracking yet, then just use whatever oil you have and make some fuel blocks, because they're still way better than coal.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so that is everything set up for us. All we need now is to bring down the power, and we shall start producing plastic. Now, some people like to put plastic on the main bus, and that's certainly a reasonable thing to do. It get used an awful lot. You will generally be going through quite a lot of plastic. We haven't here. We're actually going to move it around expressly and take it to where we're going to be using it, rather than piping it everywhere. But that is definitely an option.
Well, there we go. We've hooked up our plastic. The line is getting... Oh,
the line is getting upgraded because that one was messy.
There we go. The line is hooked up. We have plastic now. And this is just a very simple, it's just a simple recipe, right? It's just coal and petroleum gas. We're going to be using a lot of plastic for upgraded electronics. These red electric circuits use 2 plastic per circuit. So we're going to be making
a lot of these.
You're going to use a
plastic
lot.
Doesn't get used in a lot of recipes, but the recipes it gets used in late, late, mid, and late game will be used in such massive quantities. You're going to want a very reasonable production of plastic. We're probably not even there with what we've got here. But now, over here, we set up our petroleum gas in the last episode, and it is time to make use of it. Sorry, sulfuric acid, I do apologize.
Right.
Sulfuric acid is
So the tanks are full. Yeah. They're ready for us to use the sulfuric. You don't have to wait for them to be full. We were just busy doing other stuff. Oh,
yeah.
Did we start up research yet? Did we talk about research?
Oh, no, we did not. Let's get that going. The reason why we're going to be working on batteries now is ultimately lasers, because lasers, again, they're so much more useful in outposts that are far away, because you don't have to send the ammo down. You don't need a specific logistics train. I actually like that. I like having that extra bit to my logistics network, but it certainly isn't the most efficient. So we can just start up laser research now, and that's going to unlock the laser turret. Laser research is basically like the laser theory, if you like. But while we work on setting up the batteries, we can let that research there.
Okay, do you have some chemical plants for us?
I do indeed. We're going to drop these down there and there. Then control... Get that off my key. Sorry, shift.
I got it.
Right click. Copies a recipe, and then shift left click. Pastes it to other factories, but we don't need that in this case. Now you just need copper, iron, and sulfuric acid to make batteries. Now the thing with batteries, again, very similar to other things, you need a lot of production, but not because they get used a lot. It's that they take a long time to make. Mm-hmm. Batteries take 5 seconds to make each one, and generally the things that use them need a reasonable amount of them.
Yeah, laser turrets take 20 seconds to produce one laser turret, and they require 12 batteries.
Yeah. So you're going to want a decent production of batteries. 5 would give you 1 a second. So keep that in mind as you're balancing things out. We're probably going to end up with 8 here, but we're going to leave enough room that we can expand this, because we probably will want to later on. But for the sake of demonstration, this will be adequate, I think.
Yep. Let's bring up some power.
Right. Yeah, we're probably going to want to use the the medium poles here, because they're just not going to be, the basic ones aren't going to be good enough. I'm going to need some copper, my lord. It's been ages since I've needed to pick up any resources. There we are, and
smaller ones over here should be fine.
Well. Yeah, smaller ones would work.
Okay.
There we go. Right, now, as we said, it takes 5 seconds to make each battery, which is why it's going to take a while to get through here. Once all of that is done, then we can start looking at lasers, and the laser theory research is just about to be complete.
Laser turrets are researching.
There we are. We can also now start looking at a couple of other things as well. Mm-hmm. We're going to eventually want to look at solar power and that sort of thing. But the first thing we're going to want to go for is definitely lasers. So I'm going to start that research going.
Solar power is going to be quite interesting, because we are actually getting close. We click on one of our electric poles here. We are getting close to the amount of electricity we're producing right now.
Yeah,
and in fact, it did just cap out there for a second. There it goes again. So what this tells us is that we need to start doing either more steam production, or we should research solar and start working on that. And one of the advantages of solar is simply it doesn't provoke the biters. It doesn't produce any pollution at all.
No.
It's pollution-free.
No air pollution and no sound pollution. But I will just drop down 2 extra steam engines, because we've got enough boiler capacity to handle that. So I'll just quickly put that down just for for now, but we are going to want to look at other sources of power in the near future, I think.
We're getting attacked at the copper field again.
Okay, well, right. What I'll do then is I'll quickly go and set up a little bit of defense down there. Wow.
No, they're dead.
They are persistent. If you repair those walls, I'll just pop down some guns here. That shouldn't be a problem. We'll delete this
turrets out of the way, or the trees out of the way.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And we will get this going. Probably just give us a little bit of room. Something like that will do. At this point, we're quite practiced in setting up this particular design.
We've done it a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have ammo, though. Do you have ammo?
We have ammo being manufactured up
I'll
top,
grab it.
so we could probably just bring that down.
Yeah. So this is another reason why laser turrets are going to be beneficial, because we just don't have to go back and get ammo all the time. It's like, yep, there's the laser turret. It has electricity. You're good to go.
Indeed. Yep. Now, one of the other reasons why we really needed to get plastic set up sooner rather than later is that we are very, very soon going to be wanting to upgrade to electric furnaces. Mm-hmm. That way, we'll reduce the strain on our fuel blocks, because of obviously the electric furnaces drawing from the boilers themselves or the solar power plants, which don't use fuel. So you can really start to decrease the amount of consumption that's going on there.
But electric furnaces require advanced circuits, the red circuits. Mm-hmm. So this is an opportunity for us to sort of explain the whole process. Like, we didn't do this research earlier because we couldn't build these because we didn't have plastic being produced. Yeah. Now that we're producing plastic, we can start doing the red circuit production, which will allow us to do electric furnaces.
Right. Okay, and we will begin the electric furnace research now. Now, this one is going to take a little bit longer, twice as long, because it takes twice as many science packs of both types. So we're going to let that go on. I'm going to just destroy this. Can I destroy this rock?
It's not a rock. It's not there.
Oh, isn't it?
It's not physical. Yeah.
I thought it was a rock. Bloody game confusing me. Right, let's get these all set up as well. Let's expand our battery production. We're going to need it, so we may as well pop this down now.
Sounds good.
We can just split things off up here as we have done. We'll have a basic splitter. You know what? I do need to get rid of a lot of the... Well, there's no point in using the regular belts at this point. You can happily mix and match them. It's no issue. That one...
Oh,
sorry.
It's okay.
Pop that one there. But once you've upgraded to a type of belt, there's really no particular reason to worry about using the alternate belt type that you've got. And you'll notice it'll start to spread them out a little bit, which is kind of funny to watch. We're going to need some underground belts here.
I'll get the piping
a little
going.
bit further back. Thank you very much. That would be wonderful. And there we are. Now, we chose here to have two separate belts. You could have easily set them up to run on a single belt, just iron on one side, copper on the other. It wouldn't have been much of an issue there. Actually, what I can do here...
I'm out of underground belts. I'll pick some up. Or underground piping. This is where it's nice to have all these things being produced automatically. Yes. You just walk over and be like, oh, I need some pipes. Here you go.
Oh, yeah. There we go. All set up. Now all we need is a little bit of power.
Power sounds good.
Yeah. Pop that one there. Oh.
Did you just double my work?
Yes, I did.
But it doesn't cover the factory itself. I can just put a small one down there. Oh no, a big one.
Actually, we'll put a middle one instead of the middle.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Instead of these small ones here.
That works too.
Help everything out.
Okay.
There we go. And once again,
recipe time.
Yep, I've still got the recipe copied from earlier. If you hold down Shift and then hover over a factory, it'll show you with a green outline if you have any of them copied. So I just still had that one there. There we go. Right, now, where are we going to want to put our laser production? Because, again, it takes a while to make these. It takes 10 seconds to make a gun turret, 20 seconds to make each laser turret. At this point, this would be hugely inefficient for us to be making ourselves. And it's around this point where you're starting to go in towards blue science that it's generally going to be better that any new thing that you're trying to make, you set up automation for, because
Right.
it's just going to take so long for you to do it compared to the factories, which can actually, in the end, be faster than you are. Right now, all of our factories are a little bit slower at crafting than we are.
Right.
But eventually they become faster.
Right, especially once you start doing, what are they called?
Modules.
Modules, right. Those will allow us to make factories faster than we are, much faster than we are. Okay, so
But-
we have our batteries.
Yep.
So the recipe calls for batteries, electronic circuits, and steel plates. We have the steel on the main belt. That's easy done. Where do you want to do the circuits? And
Well, if we leave a bit of room for expansion on the batteries, because again, I suspect that we may eventually want to
Add more
drastically
batteries. Oh, yeah.
increase that. So
definitely.
we'll leave a fair bit of room for that, and perhaps instead run that up top, because we aren't going to need to expand out our arms. We can actually do all of the laser setup over here. And I think that'll be quite a nice little area there. But we'll
Okay.
probably finish that, or at least start the work. There's a lot of repetition here. We're going to set up a little green circuit manufacturing area and that sort of thing, just to bring everything into position. And we'll bring you back in the next episode, ready to just showcase finishing off the laser production, and we can see what kind of damage we can do with our new lasers then. What do you say, Shen?
oh, it sounds like fun. I've been waiting for lasers since day one, man. They're my favorite thing in the game.
I wouldn't quite go that far myself. They're quite nice. But that'll be it from us then. I hope this has been an informative episode for you. And as always, if you have any questions, just leave it down in the comment section and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But until next time, do take care.
Bye-bye.